Oh, I always have revelation during recording. And then I just have to follow with that movement. Anyway, hi everyone. This is Be Extra, a knitting podcast by Stephanos Axnanda. Be extra. Show off. Show out. Not show off to be arrogant, but show off. Be proud. Be brave. Work on the project that you want to work on and make that product or object that you want to make. All right. So today is September 30th, Saturday, 2023 AD. As you know, the theme of today is lace knitting. Now, I never worked on lace knitting before this year until I became a citizen of the United States earlier this year. So the story was I submitted my application for citizenship in the United States because I have been living here with my green card. And then the submission of the application was January, and 3 weeks later, I got the date for my interview. The interview went smoothly. I really loved the experience. During the interview, after they welcomed me to the United States, figuratively speaking, they mentioned your oath ceremony will be a special one because it will have a speaker, which is a scientist that was naturalized 10 years ago. And there will be the school band playing, the school choir singing, and all that. And there will be food and everything. And they said, make sure you dress appropriately. And you have 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks to figure out what to wear. So I was like, what do I want to wear? So this is what I wore. I'll put a picture here. As you can see, I have a lace shawl on the outer part of my blazer. Now, when I heard the information 2 weeks to prepare for the ceremony, I was thinking, and also at that time it was springtime for the ceremony. I decided I want a lace or a shawl that is really light. So I want a lace yarn shawl. So I went to my local yarn store. I picked up a skein of lace silk yarn. I think it's about 798 meters, and just cast on about 140 something stitches. I mentioned I never worked with or on lace knitting. So I just looked up some, lace knitting pattern on the internet. And then, again, I came up with the shawl that I showed before. So this is that shawl that I just put around a dress form. So this is not a gown. Be extra. Be proud. That's the knitting, this podcast. So I just put it around this dress form, and but it is actually the shawl. So if you can see, nothing is in the back. So it's not a whole gown. Before I go into detail, why am I doing this? Because after that oath ceremony, I kept looking at the shawl. It's just beautiful. Lace is just beautiful. I never thought these fingers can make something like this. I never thought that is possible. Anyway, what I decided to do is looked up some videos on how to make your own lace wedding gown. So actually, it's really interesting the construction of a lace wedding gown. You start with the dress form and you uh, kind of figure out where you wanna your fabric or your gown to fall on your body by using a tape, and then you start with the under fabric of the gown. I'm sure there's a term that I not remembering at the moment, but that under fabric is kind of stretchy fabric, but you start making the full gown with that fabric. Once you have that, they get the lace fabric from the store, and the lace will have some motifs. What they do is then they cut the motifs and they place that motifs wherever they want them to go on the wedding gown. Once they put the motifs, secure it, they start hand stitching them or machine stitch them, and then from there it's the regular process of making a gown. So I was thinking, if you know how to drape with a fabric, then you should be able to drape with a hand knit fabric. That's the idea here. Maybe in the future I will make like a wedding gown just for fun from a hand knit fabric, maybe like a lace weight yarn. Look, this is only one skein of lace weight yarn. So if you can make a whole gown, anyway, not the point. The point is, I started with a really simple motif. I will bring it a little bit closer so it is in the, yeah. So initially, as I mentioned, it's about 140 stitches to cast on, and garter stitch, garter band on the bottom and also on the side. And for the first row, it's just a simple yarn over everywhere, and then started with just a cross motif for the lace. And then here, this is the well-known diamond lace stitch. You can find it anywhere in any resource you use for lace pattern. And then from here, it's kind of like a triangle. And I was playing with, like a butterfly motif, I call it, but I don't really like it, so I cancel that one on the other half. And then from here, this is just a simple, another well-known lace motif that at the moment is just escaping me. And also the color scheme, as you saw in the picture before of my outfit, was red, white, and blue. So the blue is coming from the blazer, the white is coming from the shirt and also this shawl. And also there's a little like really dark blue speckle, as you can see here, all over this yarn. It's just beautiful, amazing yarn. Also, for the red one, I decided to make this little heart. This is actually a free pattern by Sam, the Irish farm art. He has a channel on YouTube. Go and follow him. But anyway, red, white, and blue, and that combination. So, really happy with how this turned out. Again, leveling up. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm really expert at lace knitting, but hey, you start somewhere, right? Correct. So this is where I start. Where did I go from there? Then we went to summer. So I'm like, okay, let me start summer knitting. What I decided, I really love this diamond. Can I put that diamond on a tank top? I have this silk yarn that I bought a couple years ago before the pandemic even. This is sport weight silk yarn from KFI. KFI luxury collection. It's luxury silk sport. It is 100 gram per skein and 265 meters for that 100 grams. And this is 100% silk, sport weight. For years, I don't know what I wanted to make with this, but then I'm like, okay, tank top, no sleeves, even for my size. I don't think I need a lot of yarn. Do I? After I did this movement, I decided to make it. So, summer tank top, maybe for swimsuit cover while I'm on the beach. So I want to make it stripes, and then each stripe will have the diamond. Okay, here we are. And bam. Love it. And as you can see, the color has faded because I wear this so much. This is the initial color, y'all. Look at that. I wear it so much this summer. I even brought this to my vacation trip to Europe. So I went to start in Madrid, Spain. When I was in Madrid, I did not know the Madrid Pride was happening the weekend that I was there. So I was wearing this tank top during the Madrid Pride. I will put a picture there. And after Madrid, I went to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. I have a friend, David, who lives in Spain. I met David when I was doing my postdoc back in Brookhaven National Laboratory before I went to Berkeley. We had a blast in Santiago de Compostela. I need to go back to Santiago. I love it. The food, the seafood, and the water. So Santiago de Compostela, the beaches, is just amazing. Not just the water. So they call this area, the coastal area, Rias, because the beaches are really crooked. So instead of just like a long line of beach, if you just Google Santiago de Compostela, Rias, you will see how how crooked the beaches are. And when I was in Madrid, I decided to pick up a mohair from We Are Knitters, which is a Madrid-based yarn store. While wearing this, staying in Chueca during the Madrid Pride. Okay, so when I was in Chueca, I picked up a mohair and then I went to Santiago de Compostela. I saw the Rias. So I decided with that mohair, I want to make just a free form, no pattern of the lace part, but kind of like the idea of the crooked beaches of Santiago de Compostela coast. I just make, yarn over in random places that kind of like represent that idea of the Santiago coast. Anyway, so I will bring this here. So, that's beautiful. That's the first tank top that I made using the lace motif. And this one is just during my vacation. So this was my vacation knit. So it was really easy to travel with because, mohair, and this is only one skein of mohair, 50 grams. So light travel. All right. After I made this first tank top, I decided to make more, but instead of a tank top, next one I want to make a shirt. So, that tank top was done bottom up, and then initially working the round, but then once you come to the underarm area, you work flat. From the front one, I shape it so that it has a lower front and then higher back. Now, for the shirt, I just make it square. So you see, do the same thing, bottom up, diamond, no shaping, all the way up, and then at the end, just stitch the two together from the front and the back, because at the underarm, point, I start working in flat, so working flat, but before that, it was in the round. Again, I will put some pictures here. Oh, you're showing. So that was me in Cologne wearing this Cologne, Germany, because I went to Germany after I went to Spain. Another funny story. Did not plan this. When I landed in Cologne, I realized that we can also the Pride Parade in Cologne. So hey, I stay in Alta Market, an old market area. It's very touristy, but I have a friend Andre, who is from Cologne, and Andre and I we enjoyed Cologne. I guess it was nice. Andre is really nice, and yes, this is the second idea or the second, lace project that I decided to make. Now, after I came back from the summer trip to Europe, I decided to. Oh, before that, this second one, this shirt is a mix of wool and silk. I got it from a local yarn store, which is next to the ocean, in Ocean Grove, which is next to Highland Asbury Park. That is my favorite beach in New Jersey, and the store is Balzac Fiber, and Russell, the owner, he's a really nice person. And if you ever are in the area, go ahead and stop by. So I went back to Jersey, and I love going to the beach. And every time I go to the beach, I tell myself, do not do not buy yarn, or do not buy more yarn before you use your previous, skeins. Well, I did because I found another yarn that I've never used, which is linen, 50% linen, 50% silk. This one was 50% wool, 50% silk. And I decided to make another tank top. But this time, since the first tank top, I use it mostly for swimsuit cover up when I'm on the beach. But I kind of want something a little bit more coverage on the chest area when I get out of the beach. So my idea here is to incorporate mosaic knitting on the chest area. So initially I start just like the previous one, the lace diamond motif bottom up in the round, flat from under the arm area. And then that's when I start to do the mosaic. As you can see here, only the front part is mosaic. The back part is still the diamond lace. So here, as you can see, there are 3 different colors, and also the motif of the mosaic is kind of like repeating the motif of the diamond, but instead of lace, it's just in the mosaic. And I'll put some pictures of me wearing this. This again, beautiful summer knit, and I've been enjoying this. And this one, I think I have more yarn left over. So this is the 50% linen and 50% silk. So that's the third one. So, as you have seen in the beginning of this video, I am knitting, currently working on another shawl. Anyway, so this is what I'm working on right now. Now, let me tell you something. I've never, so this is baby, I don't know, cashmere yarn, lace weight, really soft, really easy to break. Meaning, if I just, when I was winding it on this from the skein, it broke 3 times while I'm winding it. So that's the first thing I need to update my parameters. Do not wind it too fast or yank it too hard. And then as I cast it on, I broke it multiple times while I was casting it on. So I was so afraid in the beginning of this project. But then, what is my motto? Be extra. Show off. Show out. Be brave. Be brave. So brave I was, or I am. And maybe I can show, well, I'm not sure where I am on this. And I don't want to mess up. But anyway, you saw it in the sorry. Yeah. So as you can see, I really have to knit gently because, if I just yank it, just a little bit, hard just to get more yarn, just, yank it from the cake, it will break. So this is the first time I use Lifeline. Don't know if we can see it, but there's the Lifeline there, a yellow thread. And I should have more Lifeline. Also, especially, I have used 50% of the skein. So this is a 50 grams skein, and right now it's only 25 grams left. I should put on more Lifeline, just to be safe. Another thing is, because I have to be really extra careful working with this yarn, it has slowed me down significantly, but I don't mind, because I really enjoy this yarn. I enjoy how beautiful it turns out. Sorry, I should have finished this row before I start recording. But the idea here, I start with the diamond motif, and then I start with this simple leaves motif, and then I think this is a really, really extra type of motif. It's called the chandelier. It's a Japanese stitch motif, and you can find it. It's a free motif that you can find on the internet or anywhere you find your knitting pattern. Yeah, where are we? So that's what I have. So finished objects and what I'm working on. Before I go, I want to mention a couple of things about the podcast. First, I decided to make release episodes weekly for this initial stage, because I can use this as practice of figuring out the parameters of the recording parameters, because this is my first time. So for example, the lightings, the sound, the flow of the recording, and maybe later on I will update my frequency, but right now it's weekly. And I mentioned also here and also in my previous episode that I really respect this community. What do I mean by that? I started knitting maybe a little bit earlier, before the pandemic starts, maybe somewhere in 2019 or so. But during the pandemic, I really started knitting to cope with whatever we were going through at that time. And through knitting, I found a really supportive community, and I find knowledge. I used YouTube initially to start knitting. There is a really nice channel by Arne and Carlos. Those those guys really taught me how to start knitting. I suggest if you ever want, if you are starting knitting or you want some resources, definitely check their channel. And one thing that another thing that I would like to also share every episode, because I really leverage this community for the knowledge when I was starting. So I decided maybe with this podcast is a way for me to pay back to the community. So maybe I can share some tips, maybe not fully teaching a whole class, maybe sometime in the future, but definitely I can share some tips from my own experience. So when I started knitting, I looked at a lot of patterns and I was a little bit, or not a little bit, but I was really confused in the beginning due to the fact that I am a left-handed person. So my left hand this is my left hand is really dominant. I knit with my left hand. I bowl or play bowling with my left hand. I play tennis with my left hand. And now I realized early on that knitting, the regular way of knitting, is progressing. I call it the progressing hand, meaning the hand that is making the new stitch is your right hand. So for example, if you look at a pattern, you see the number is going from the right to the left. It increases from right to left because your progressing hand is your right hand. So this is my right hand. So you make new stitches with your right hand. So this is the right hand. You go from right to left. However, I am a left-handed person, so my progressing hand is my left hand. So when I realized that, I was able to follow patterns. I just have to go to the chart in any pattern, see, just confirm, okay, yeah, it increases from right to left. So that means, I have to read it from left to right. So a lot of time when I follow pattern, I do not follow the written instruction, because written instruction is definitely for the regular way of knitting where you go from right to left. So what I do, I just follow the chart. So I guess this is something like I can share with someone who are starting, especially those others who are left-handed like me. Some patterns will say, this is for right-handed, this is for left-handed instruction. But a lot of time we assume that patterns are written where, the progressing hand is your right hand. So, if you have a pattern and then you find the instruction, the written instruction is confusing, go by the chart, because you can, update the way of knitting the project by following how you knit, which is from the left to right. Anyway, that's my first tip. And I think I will move this section a little bit to the front in the future episode, actually next week. Next week, I think I will cover mosaic knitting, and just as a preview, I will go over this cowl, which is a mosaic color work that I made up. I always have revelation during recording. And then I just have to follow with that movement. Anyway, I like to make my own pattern. But that means everything is written or made for a left-handed person. If I ever write them down as a pattern, it's not a problem. I'll go for this. And there's another object that I knit entirely in Mosaic that I would like to share in the next one. Yes, so next one is going to be Mosaic. But what is my point? My point is I will start sharing tips in knitting in my future episode as my payback to the community. And if you have any suggestion what to cover, please comment in the comment section, and I can cover it, or I'll try to cover it. Okay, I think that's it. Let me see my notes. I also started taking notes. Community, left hand, tank top, current whip. I think I covered everything. So that is it for now. That is Stefanos Saxnanda. Be extra. A knitting podcast by Stefanos. Be extra. Be proud. Do this movement. Show out. Show off. Not show off to be arrogant, but be brave. Be proud. Work on the project that you want to work on. Make the object that you want to make. And be happy with it. Enjoy it. Make mistakes. Live your mistakes. Learn from the mistakes. All right, y'all. See you next time.